have to maximize opportunities even if there aren't a ton of reps to go around. You got to be creative with how you create some extra reps, specifically to get Shadur ready if you can't get a bunch of reps there. So the good news is both guys are bought in and doing a good job of working hard and understanding how important those opportunities are, to be ready for the team. So it is a unique situation. I don't know how many times it's probably happened, but probably not a lot. And we have the right two guys mentally right now in their demeanor and how they're prepping and how.
Tommy Rees just flipped the entire table in Cleveland. And when I say flipped, I mean plates, contracts, and egos went flying. The Browns thought they could run their quiet little power game, but Tommy stormed in like a man on a mission, armed with receipts, rage, and a whistle that could shake the NFL gods awake. Shedeur Sanders might have been the spark, but Reese, he's the explosion that turned whispers into detonations. From locker room leaks to accidental benchings, this saga's got more smoke than a 4th of July cookout. The Cleveland Browns just stepped into their full-blown villain era, and they're wearing it proudly. Forget play calling or game strategy. This is football espionage with a side of betrayal. Right in the center of it all stands Tommy Rees, the man who didn't just blow the whistle. He dropped a nuke straight on the coaching staff. There's supposed to be a line between player development and career sabotage, but the Browns weren't just crossing it. They were salsa dancing on it with fireworks, and that's where Shedeur Sanders comes in. The kid became the face of every unfair decision, every hidden agenda, every not ready yet excuse the staff could throw. And Reese, he finally said, enough of this circus. He took the chaos and turned it inside out for the world to see. Let's rewind this soap opera on turf. It started like any other NFL preseason, big dreams, bigger egos, and one too many coaches acting like their playbook was blessed by Einstein himself. Then walks in Shadur, cool, confident, and dripping with potential.
It makes sense that he's a second string now and he's not getting any first team reps. It also doesn't make sense that he's not being considered to play any games this year, regardless of what we've been hearing. But this is the first time I've actually heard something that has to do with the planning and the development of any of the Browns quarterbacks, especially when it comes to Shadur.
Suddenly, the meeting rooms turned into drama episodes. Every throw he made got dissected, and every drill felt like a setup. They weren't testing him. They were trying to trip him. And Tommy saw it all and decided to blow the whole thing wide open. Tommy Rees, the so-called offensive mastermind, wasn't fooled for a second. He saw right through the mess like a detective rewinding security footage in slow motion. You know it's bad when a coach starts studying practice film like it's a crime scene. Something just didn't add up. The plays were way too predictable, the protection too soft, and every time Shadur stepped in, the setup looked like a trap waiting to happen. Coincidence? Please. This is the Cleveland Browns. Their idea of player development looks more like sabotage with a smile. Trying to fix their system is like trying to repair a car engine with a banana. It's a joke. And Tommy Rees wasn't laughing. He didn't just raise his voice, he went full-blown action hero mode. Picture him storming into that coach's meeting with that deadly serious enough is enough look. He didn't need to say a word. His presence alone probably made the Gatorade cooler shiver. Rumors started flying about strategic misdirection, locker room politics, and a few play calls so bad that even the Madden AI would have thrown the controller in disgust. This wasn't about skill anymore. It was about ego.
To process, okay, on this play, if I get single high defense, this is my progression. If I get two high defense, this is my progression. In essence, he's just running scout team.
Yeah.
So yeah, he knows their offense, but when you say set Hut in a real game, they moving a lot faster.
Can I ask everybody this though?
He should be getting reps.
If Shadur is a backup, why does everybody want to treat him like a starter?
I don't want to treat him like a starter. Give him his 2 to 4 reps. That's all he should get. He shouldn't get any more than that.
But here's the problem,
he should get some first team reps.
Here's the problem. It depends on what organization you're a part of.
Some people upstairs just couldn't handle the fact that a rookie, especially one with swagger and spotlight magnet energy like Shedeur Sanders, was starting to steal the show. The Browns love an underdog story, as long as they're the ones holding the leash. But Tommy Rees, he wasn't here to babysit bad decisions. When you've coached in elite systems and lived and breathed offensive precision, watching these clowns run chaos must have felt like watching someone butter toast with a chainsaw. Reese came from order, from execution, from results, and seeing Cleveland's circus act unfold in front of him, that was the final straw. So when Tommy Rees saw Shedeur's development being treated like some twisted inside joke, he snapped. The Browns expected quiet obedience. They thought Reese would just nod, smile, and follow orders. What they got instead was a full-blown rebellion that shook the entire building. Coaches tried to play it off with fake smiles and PR-approved answers, but it was too late. The truth was leaking faster than the Browns' secondary in the fourth quarter. Everyone wanted answers. What did Tommy actually uncover? Some insiders whispered that Reese found proof of internal politics, plays being adjusted to protect certain quarterbacks' reputations. Others claimed it was pure power games.
Is being honest. Tommy Rees is being honest with saying that, like, look, he's not going to get a ton of looks, but we're going to maximize whatever we give him. And it's not what we want to hear, but you know what? It makes sense now. Because the first few people, and when I say few, I mean 4 or 5 people that y'all put in front of the media when y'all ask about Shedeur, other than saying, I don't know or no, you actually gave a thought out plan that we can go with. We understand that he's a second string. We understand that he didn't come into the season a second string, but at least be a professional and give us a plan on how you plan on
keeping the young blood on a leash while the old guard fought to stay relevant. It was poetic, in a tragic clipboard snapping kind of way. Meetings turned awkward, film sessions got tense, and the air in the facility felt electric, like everyone knew something was about to blow. And then there's Shedeur Sanders. That Dion DNA runs deep. You can see it in the way he carries himself. Quiet confidence mixed with that I'm not built for mediocrity fire. When he realized he was being played, he didn't break down, he flipped the script. Every missed pass turned into motivation, every bad call became a spark. While the coaching staff was tangled up in their own politics, Shedeur was out there evolving, turning frustration into highlight material waiting to explode across every screen in America. Meanwhile, Tommy Rees was becoming public enemy #1 inside the building.
The coordinator, Tommy Rees of the Cleveland Browns, and he just wrapped up his press conference earlier today for the media availability. Now we're going into week 1 of the NFL. Opening night is tonight. And the Cleveland Browns are still making headline news. And it's all regarding around Shedeur Sanders and what people think about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is going to get an opportunity. Now, offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Now, all the people that are watching who don't know who Tommy Rees is, Tommy Rees played quarterback for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish from 2010 all the way to 2013.
You could practically feel the tension. One side of the staff glaring daggers at him, the other side silently cheering him on under the table. That's how revolutions start. Not with speeches, but with quiet defiance and shared side eyes. Reese wasn't going to sit back and watch talent get chewed up by ego and bad management. He went full whistleblower, calling out every underhanded move, every accidental benching, every fake excuse in the playbook. And the moment he did, boom, the fallout hit like a storm. Cleveland sports talk radio lit up like a fireworks show. Callers, analysts, and even former players weighing in, turning the Browns' dirty laundry into the headline of the week. Words like conflict, betrayal, and mutiny started flying through Cleveland like confetti after a bad loss. The fan base, loyal as ever, might bleed orange and brown, but they're not blind.
We heard yesterday none other than Kevin Stefanski pretty much say Shedeur Sanders has not been getting first-team reps because Dylan Gabriel is a rookie quarterback and he need pretty much a majority of all the damn reps. That was his answer to why Shedeur Sanders has not been getting first-team reps. Now today, we got Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, kind of doubling down on these comments in regards to Shedeur Sanders not getting reps. I don't know, but I'm telling you this. I said it once and I'll say it again. Shedeur need to get the hell out of Cleveland.
They've seen this movie too many times. The big speeches, the hype, the we're turning a corner energy, all ending in another midseason meltdown. So when whispers hit that Shedeur Sanders' growth was being sabotaged, fans went wild. Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, all lit up like draft night chaos. They wanted answers now. And out of nowhere, Tommy Rees became the unplanned hero in this football soap opera. You got to give the man credit. Most assistants would have kept their heads down, cashed their checks, and quietly planned their escape in the offseason. But not Reese. Oh no, he went nuclear.
Is there anything to this Shedeur not getting first-team reps?
I think it's a little bit strange.
Yeah.
You
you do think it? So you think it is?
I mean,
okay.
the guy's
All right.
one turned ankle from, or one concussion check from upstairs. Drake May had to leave the game for 2 plays.
His move wasn't just bold. It might have saved Shedeur's entire career trajectory, because once the leaks dropped and the story blew up, every single eye in the NFL turned toward Cleveland. Overnight, the narrative shifted. Shedeur wasn't some rookie struggling to adjust. He was a talented player, caught in the crossfire of dysfunction. That's a game-changing twist. Now scouts, commentators, rival GMs, everyone's digging for the truth.
Last week, because upstairs they thought he had a concussion.
Right.
So how could he not get 1 rep during the week? Now, just because that's the answer doesn't mean that's what's happening, but that struck me.
So you weren't buying what he was saying about, Dylan did because Flacco.
No, I buy that. I buy that he was telling mostly the truth there. It
Yeah.
strikes me as strange that your backup quarterback wouldn't get 3 plays over the course. You've been in a lot of football practices.
What really happened behind those locker room doors? What was Cleveland hiding? And here's the kicker. The Browns tried to fix their image, but only made the fire burn hotter. They released vague, corporate-sounding statements about team unity and internal evaluations, which only made the whole thing sound even shadier. Fans didn't buy it for a second. They could smell the cover-up. And let's talk about those dirty tactics whispers, because it goes way deeper than bad play calling. This is cultural rot. It's favoritism in reps, intentional confusion in instructions, subtle bias that keeps young talent from threatening the old guard's comfort zone. It's that same invisible poison that kills progress in football, business, and life.
Coordinator Tommy Rees set the record straight about Shedeur Sanders' development up there in Cleveland. And also, Mary Kay, the beat writer, the insider for the Cleveland Browns, she gave her side about Shedeur Sanders' development.
Tommy Rees, whether he planned it or not, became the antidote. He didn't just call out the mess, he exposed the entire infection. And for the first time in a long time, Cleveland had to face a truth it couldn't spin away with press conferences and fake smiles. The NFL is buzzing. Coaches across the league are whispering like it's top secret intel. Execs are jotting down notes, and somewhere out there, Deion Sanders is shaking his head with that knowing grin like, told you so. Because let's be real, Shedeur Sanders was never built to blend quietly into some system built on silence. He's too dynamic, too confident, too aware.
First 2 guys, you traded the first 2 guys that you had. All right, but like giving Dylan Gabriel all the first team reps, like really? We're just looking for reasons of this vast conspiracy against a quarterback that they drafted and would solve all their problems if he was good. There's a conspiracy about that. It would solve every single one of their problems. Again, I cannot stress this enough. There is rumor and innuendo going around that I don't even know is true about the quarterback that's not currently active right now, liking Instagram or TikTok posts that are anti the head coach. Is that actually true?
I'll tell you what was true. I heard that
I'm seeing journalists like ask it on the internet. I'm like, I don't know.
And Tommy Rees, he was the perfect storm, the right man at the right time, with the right fire to call out the nonsense that everyone else was too scared to touch. Now the ripple effect is spreading like wildfire. Don't be shocked if this little Cleveland scandal ends up changing how teams across the NFL handle their young talent. Whispers are already turning into meetings, accountability reviews, anonymous evaluations, even full-blown leadership audits.
The offense coordinator for the Cleveland Browns giving you his take on the 2 quarterbacks and how he's developing both of them. He said both of them are doing good. They have the 2 best quarterbacks. They think they are thriving in his offense under the leadership of the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. That's Tommy Rees, the offense coordinator, giving you his take on that.
When one assistant coach manages to blow up an entire internal power structure, you better believe the league takes notice. And yet, Through all this chaos, one image stands above the rest. The fans know it, the players feel it, and deep down, even the front office can't deny it. Somewhere in that film room, Shedeur Sanders is probably sitting back, watching tape with that signature smirk, the one that says, "Yeah, they tried to bury me, but they forgot I'm the seed." Because at its core, this story isn't just about football, it's about power, pride, and politics. It's a billion-dollar empire run by people who still act like high school cliques.
Not taking no damn 12 reps in a row in team run, 12 reps in a row, team pass, 12 reps in a row on 7-on-7. The backup always gets reps.
Let me push back, T. Let me push back. If the starter is a vet.
When egos collide, chaos follows. Tommy Rees exposed the truth, and Shedeur Sanders survived it like a pro. Cleveland wanted to bury the narrative. Instead, they just gave birth to one of the wildest redemption arcs in modern football. You can already picture the PR machine gearing up. Carefully worded apologies, regretful press conferences, and that classic line every guilty franchise leans on, "We could have handled things differently." But everyone knows what this really was. The moment Cleveland's dirty laundry got aired in 4K and Tommy Rees was the one holding the remote while Shadur walked out of the mess looking cleaner than ever. And if you think that was the end of the storm, oh no, this saga was just getting started. The Browns thought they could sweep the drama under their beloved orange rug, but Reese had already kicked the door open and let the truth gust through like a hurricane. Picture it. The coaching office filled with fake smiles, nervous chatter, and that suffocating air of denial, the kind that only shows up when everyone knows the house is on fire, but insists it's just warm lighting. The same coaches who once laughed off Tommy Rees's ideas were suddenly scrambling to rewrite history, flipping through their notebooks like students trying to copy homework before the bell.
Yes. Then the backup gonna get reps. Because when DeMeco Ryans was the number one and I'm his backup, DeMeco Ryans not taking all 12 first-team reps. Absolutely not. Acho, get in there for about 8 of them. And the worst part is, I'm gonna take more first-team reps than DeMeco, and I ain't finna see the field on Sunday. I'm gonna see the field on kickoff, kick return, punt return. That's it. So if DeMeco's there, yes. But when DeMeco got hurt, and now I'm running with the ones, my backups.
They were desperate to look innocent, acting like they'd always supported him. Meanwhile, the Browns higher-ups strutted around with that trademark confidence only people untouched by consequences ever have. They called the whole scandal a miscommunication, as if sabotaging your own quarterback was just a fun team-building exercise. Incredible. Somewhere deep in the PR department, interns were pulling all-nighters, turning phrases like internal dysfunction into shiny new buzzwords like strategic innovation. But let's be honest, fans weren't fooled for a second. The internet was on fire. Twitter threads, Reddit rants, TikToks, everyone was roasting Cleveland. How does a team this chaotic still act shocked when chaos hits? How many times can you trip over your own shoelaces before realizing maybe, just maybe, you should stop running in flip-flops?
Business is it when you've got a 5'9" quarterback running around and could twist an ankle, and Shadur would have to play Sunday in Foxborough, and he's not getting any reps? That seems like bad preparation, no?
It was comedy and tragedy rolled into one orange and brown meltdown. And in the middle of the madness, Shedeur Sanders, calm, cool, and collected. While everyone else was losing their minds, he sat at the eye of the storm, stone-faced and focused. No long statements, no cryptic tweets, just quiet confidence radiating like armor. That's the thing about real talent. It doesn't need press conferences to speak. It shows up on the field and proves itself every single snap. Shadur wasn't complaining, and he was calculating. Every move, every throw, every highlight was a statement. You tried to sideline me, now watch me shine. Meanwhile, the Browns front office did what they always do. Pretend nothing ever happened.
It does. You wouldn't question it if you know you had a backup.
If it was Kelly Holcomb, yeah, right. If it was, yeah, right. I wouldn't. It's not. It's a kid they haven't. He hasn't taken first-round team reps with anybody yet.
It's almost like, you know, the coach is saying, okay, you gave me 2 rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to prepare one of them, and we'll see what happens if he goes down.
Suddenly, everyone was aligned again. Emergency meetings popped up, motivational speeches were handed out like free samples, and every interview started sounding painfully rehearsed. The head coach even pulled out his favorite cliche, talking about growth through adversity, which everyone knows is PR code for "we're pretending this disaster made us stronger." The whole act was almost impressive in its delusion. Cleveland had gone from denial to damage control in record time, but no matter how much polish they put on it, everyone watching could see the cracks forming. And somewhere behind the scenes, Tommy Rees and Shedeur Sanders both knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. But fans weren't buying that fairy tale for a second. The Browns didn't just lose control of the story, they set it on fire and then handed Tommy Rees the match with a smile. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Preseason is when reputations get built or buried, and now every training report, every insider leak, every shady tweet was part of a public investigation into what the Browns were really hiding. The more they tried to patch things up, the worse it looked, like trying to fix a shattered window with a motivational poster.
People don't understand the difference between when Joe Flacco, your veteran, your 40-year-old was the quarterback, why the understudy would be getting reps, and now the understudy is the quarterback, why people think they would cut his reps.
See, that's why
he's never played in NFL games until 3 weeks ago.
That's why that's why Ross Tucker was right when he brought, like, some of the stuff does seem to be crazy, but Ross Tucker's like, no, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and he's been saying that for months. And look, when you got four guys, like, I don't know about the 4 QB situation, all right, and I thought it was a little.
Then came the plot twist. Rumors started swirling that Reese was already in quiet talks with other teams. Suddenly, everyone realized this wasn't just about drama or revenge. This was strategy. Reese wasn't burning bridges. He was building a runway, a calculated move from a coach who knew his worth and wasn't afraid to stand for something real. He turned his outrage into opportunity, and the league took notice. Scouts, execs, even rival coaches, they were all taking notes. Because Reese didn't just challenge the Browns, he sent a warning shot to every dysfunctional organization out there. He didn't just torch Cleveland's credibility, he exposed how fake loyalty and ego-driven leadership destroy potential. That's the real genius of Tommy Rees. He didn't just speak up, he made honesty unignorable. And in doing so, he flipped the script on the Browns' entire narrative. And Shedeur Sanders, he's not just surviving the chaos, he's writing his comeback one play at a time. He's letting the noise fade while he sharpens the blade, waiting for that perfect moment to make the league remember exactly who he is. Because when the Browns tried to play him, they accidentally created their own highlight reel, starring the very player they underestimated. In the NFL, karma doesn't need a referee. It just needs a coach brave enough to pull the trigger and a player strong enough to rise from the fallout. So if you've been following this wild ride, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next one.